Why don't consciousness and the unconscious always go hand in hand? The transcendent function, building inner bridges to a fuller life. In Carl Jung's psychology, the transcendent function is not a mystical concept, but a powerful and practical tool for integrating what you know about yourself, your conscious mind, with the vast universe of memories, instincts, and potentials that reside within you, often outside your immediate awareness, your unconscious mind. Imagine it as building a sturdy bridge that connects these two worlds, allowing them to converse and collaborate. This union is crucial because, as Jung observed, the conscious and unconscious are rarely in perfect harmony. In fact, they often complement or even compensate for each other. Think of it this way. If something is missing or being repressed in your conscious life, your unconscious mind may be working to balance or compensate for this gap. Jung explained that this lack of parallelism between the conscious and unconscious mind occurs for a few crucial reasons. The threshold of consciousness. Your conscious mind is like a highly selective filter. Only the most strong or relevant information can penetrate it and be perceived. More subtle content, forgotten memories, or ideas still being formed tend to remain in the unconscious. Practical example. You know when you're trying to solve a complex problem and suddenly the solution pops into your mind without you having thought it through logically? This is an insight coming from the unconscious. Your mind was working behind the scenes, processing information you didn't even realize you had until the solution reached the threshold and became conscious. It's like when you try to remember someone's name, give up, and minutes later the name simply pops into your head. The censorship of consciousness. Our consciousness is goal-oriented and geared toward our adaptation to the world. Therefore, it tends to inhibit or censor information that seems incompatible, irrelevant, or even threatening to what we're doing or thinking at the moment. It's a defense mechanism that pushes into the unconscious everything that could distract us from our current focus. Practical example. If you're fully focused on an important deadline at work, your conscious mind may ignore or repress thoughts about your upcoming vacation, a family argument, or a hobby. This information doesn't disappear, they are temporarily displaced into the unconscious to allow you to maintain focus. However, they can resurface in dreams or moments of relaxation. Memories and inherited structures. While consciousness deals with the here and now and immediate adaptation, the unconscious holds not only all your forgotten memories, but also patterns of thought and behavior that have been inherited through human evolution, what Jung called the collective unconscious. Practical example. That inexplicable feeling of fear or discomfort you feel in a dark, unfamiliar environment, even though you rationally know you're safe, may be a remnant of ancestral fears. It's like a memory from the collective unconscious that alerts us to potential dangers, a legacy from times when darkness meant predators or threats. Fantasy combinations. The unconscious is a fertile ground for creativity, intuition, and fantasy. It is full of ideas and combinations that have not yet matured enough to surface in consciousness. Practical example. A writer suffering from writer's block, and after a period of rest, meditation, or even while engaging in a completely different activity, has an explosion of new and original ideas. The unconscious was at work, combining elements of fantasy, experience, and intuition until the ideas crossed the threshold and became conscious, ready to be expressed. This dynamic explains why the unconscious acts in a complementary way to our consciousness. It fills gaps, offers different perspectives, and even compensates for excesses or deficiencies in our conscious mind, seeking a dynamic balance. Directed consciousness, an achievement with its price. Jung emphasized that the ability to have a determined and directed consciousness, that is, to focus, plan and act with intention is a relatively recent acquisition in human history. It is this quality that enabled the development of science, technology, and civilization as we know it. Without this ability, it would be impossible to maintain the persistence and regularity necessary for any kind of organized work, from building a skyscraper to planting a crop. However, this capacity also has a significant drawback. By focusing on a specific goal, consciousness tends to inhibit or block anything that seems incompatible with it. This judgment is often partial, based on what we already know, and frequently ignores what is new, unknown, and potentially enriching. The advantage of directed awareness. A surgeon during a delicate operation requires a fully focused and directed awareness. Any thought or emotion not directly related to the surgery is inhibited, ensuring the precision and safety of the procedure. Similarly, a high-performance athlete who requires total concentration during a competition benefits immensely from this ability to direct attention and eliminate distractions. This allows for excellence in complex tasks. The disadvantage of overly directed awareness. A project manager who, by focusing only on methods and strategies that have worked in the past, may inhibit or dismiss innovative and different ideas from their team, even if they could lead to much better solutions. They judge new ideas as incompatible with what they already know, closing themselves off to potential growth. Another example is someone who always follows the same exercise routine and refuses to try new modalities, missing out on the benefits of a more varied and complete workout. Permeability in creative people. A scientist who, instead of rigidly following established protocols, allows their mind to play with seemingly meaningless hypotheses and ideas may have a revolutionary insight. This permeability between the conscious and unconscious, while it can be seen as a lack of focus in very rigid environments, is the basis of creativity and innovation. People with disorders like ADHD, for example, often exhibit greater permeability, which can bring challenges in environments that demand high compliance, but also a remarkable ability to think outside the box and come up with brilliant ideas. People who meditate regularly or practice mindfulness also cultivate this permeability, allowing insights and emotions to emerge without judgment, which can lead to greater self-awareness and creativity. The challenge of dealing with the unknown. The big point is that by directing our consciousness, we inevitably exclude unconscious content that could be very valuable for our growth and well-being. The transcendent function, then, appears as the path to integrating these two worlds. It allows us to allow the new and unknown to enrich our psychic process, rather than simply being repressed and creating internal conflicts. Throughout life, how much of the new and unknown have you repressed in your own journey? What have you left out that could help you live a fuller and integrated life?